Hey there, Patapon Saucepan. It's the 2025 ranking bracket tournament. It says so right there on the screen. So, technically, I'm gonna be honest, this is a take two. I want to redo it because I feel like my first you know what's happening, right? Like I played a lot of games, and so with the last like couple of years, few years, I look at all the games that I've played during this year, and I sort of like, play them all. I look at them all and I try to rank them in order of preferences. It is extremely subjective. There is no attempt at objectivity here. It is purely subjective. It is purely what I'm thinking in the moment. And there's a prize, as you can see right here on screen, attached to that. And so I did a first video of this, which unfortunately, due to my just me forgetting, just me being a silly butt and doing a thing wrong, it got leaked very quickly. I don't think it got seen. But nonetheless, I feel like I want to redo it anyways because I feel like my approach was too negative. Like I remember just feeling kind of off about my thing cuz like I feel like I was concentrating on the negative aspects of the games, and I hate that. I was like, okay, well, I like this game and I like this game. Oh, but this thing does this thing bad, so I give it to the other one. And that, I don't want to do that. I don't know if this is going to lead to the same rankings if I change my approach, but I do want to change my approach because this should be a celebration of what I played, not a complaintorama of what I played, right? Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. No, I want this to be celebratory. So I'm going to attack things on a positive level, and this could change how I feel about games. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We will see. So these are the games that I have played. There is only one buy. It is Void Stranger, which, yeah, if you're going to be giving one single buy in this contest, that is probably the one to go. Since I will be discussing games, I'm going to try to avoid spoilers, like just too like rampant spoilers, especially at first. But over time, do expect me to probably have to speak more frankly about games more and more as we go. Like that's just kind of inevitable. So just overall warning. I'm trying not to go too hard, but I will be saying things about these games. Like that's the whole purpose of even doing this. So you have been warned. So is there anything else I need to say? I feel like there's not really. I think we should just go right in. I'm gonna create a prediction. Hello, hello. And here we are. I played a lot of games, and a lot of the games are very, very good, with some very light exceptions. That's fine. But I'm saying this because, like, some of the games I've played are, like, people's favorite. They're, like, big games, like, very important for some people. And they may not fare as well as they want to. I understand that. I'm just saying this so that, even if your game doesn't make it out of pools, that doesn't mean it's bad. That doesn't mean that I think it's bad. It just means that I mostly play excellent games that are essentially tailored to my tastes. And so basically I'm kind of in a position where I'm basically comparing A-ranked games with other A-ranked game with a sprinkle of S's in there. So, don't take it personally, but I will break some hearts. Hearts will be shattered during the process of this event. So, here we go. Let's just go in order. No tomfoolery. And you know what? The fact that this is a take two means that I had a chance to sort of like refresh my brain. Because there's some games I remember more than others. Anyway, so Darkstalker. Okay, by the way, the seeding too, I feel, is important to state. Last year, the seeding was made was created to be very, what's the word I'm looking for here? So that, so that the strongest games would end up like near the end, like, so it would be like a build up towards a climax. Not this one. Pizza specifically seeded these games in order to so that things remain competitive all the way through, basically matching games that are real close to one another, so that would constantly have something to say, essentially. So the goal is not to have an ordered list of my preferences, which is fine, and that is not what I'm interested in doing. But it's more, yeah, they're arranged for me to have something to say basically at every step, which is why in pools we'll have two potential winners fighting it off, like, immediately. With that said, Darkstalkers versus Super Mario Kart. Those are two games that I brought in myself, basically. Two games from my past. It's always awkward, I feel like, to rank a game from my past. Because I'm never sure how to measure that. But this one feels a little bit easier to me. Super Mario Kart was a lot of fun. Man, that game is hard. I'm not sure how child me, technically would be teen me, beat this game in 150cc. I mean, I know how. I did not do it like in chunks of hours. It was like spread across like a couple of months, probably. Darkstalkers, though, I love that game. Like, that game is beautiful. Technically, Darkstalkers not a finished game. Like, Night Warriors is really where it is. But in two contests vying for my nostalgia, I have to admit it, Darkstalker just hit me better. It hit me deeper. It really got me right in the heart. And I appreciate it. Super Mario Kart, fantastic game. I feel like I just got a lot more out of Darkstalkers personally. Like, just the art, like the beautiful giant sprite art, versus Mario Kart. It's a little bit simpler. It's a little bit simpler stylistically. It's an earlier Super Nintendo game. Really fun, but I just had more fun with Darkstalkers. I'm in a Reverie, putting down two ROM hacks I've played. Here, I'm just gonna go ahead. This is one where I cannot escape the negativism. Because Reverie is a wonderful game. It is beautiful with what it does with, like, vanilla Mario graphics. It's very creative how it puts it together. It's very atmospheric. And the puzzles are extremely creative. It's a puzzle game, in case you don't know. It's the cipher, the problem. It's not really a problem, but so at some point there is a cipher. There is a numbering system that you need to decode. That I did not have any problems at all whatsoever. But later in the game, you have to decipher an alphabet. Shockingly, the actual act of deciphering the alphabet was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that very, very much. Like, I loved that a lot. I genuinely did. The issue, though, was transcribing all the text in the game using the cipher so that I could read, and there was a lot of text, and it was slow, and I just flat out did not enjoy that part. Like, I cannot escape that reality. I know some people in the comments love to do the deciphering. Like, they just kind of do it, like, from my video, essentially live, faster than I could with editing. And, like, I'm super glad that exists out there for you, dude. Like that there are people who can and will super enjoy the whole language decipherication thing. That's not a word. That doesn't matter. It's fine. But that's just not me. I thought that was homework, and it felt like homework, and that wasn't for me. Did not have that or any equivalent, so I'm sorry. Some of these are super hard. Some of them are a lot more obvious. Honestly, I don't want to do them in order. Some of them are just like, so Hell and His Other Demons and Amiagari no Anabi. That one to me is also pretty obvious. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that right now. Amiagari no Hanabi is a wonderfully cute, very adorable game. Like, the character art is cute all over the place, and, like, it is oddly complex. the mechanics involving the various fireworks that are across the game. Like, there's a lot of systems going on with the various kinds of fireworks you could wield. The issue is that there's there's a lot. There's a complex system, but there's no real game to support it. The game itself is weirdly basic. Like, it feels like the author had wanted to do a lot of art, and they did it, and they had the system in mind that they want to program, and they did it, but they just kind of either they lost interest, or they just got bored, or maybe they just didn't know what to do. They didn't have any level ideas other than the looks. I just felt like the game fell apart on that end. I remember the Soapland level, and I remember there's a Bowser door in the last one. There's a level that didn't have a level at all. It was just a boss. I remember basically nothing. So that one, pretty obvious for me. I'm sorry. Is there any other super obvious ones? Doesn't look like it. And this is... Alright, let's just do it. So, Atto versus Rainworld, Saint, and Hunter. I'm kind of surprised was there. I did not expect that to make it in, since technically Downpour was last year. But the Saint is a fascinating little game that I'm glad I played. It is such a perfect conclusion to the Rainworld meta series that I'm a little shocked that later on The Watcher got released, which I do intend to play eventually one day. But I mean, it's not in the immediate plans, but I do hope to be able to play that game. But yeah, it's such a... The Saint is just such a wonderful conclusion where you re-explore the entire world, so far in the future. You see, it is so touching to see what happened to millennia spanning characters. It's so good. It is extremely well done. The storytelling entirely through the environment is absolutely magnificent. I think, okay. In the original, I gave this to Atto, but I think I have to give it to Rainworld this time. Okay, the future has changed. So hear me out. Atto is a wonderful game. It is beautiful. It is an absolutely beautiful game. It is essentially 3 games. There is the combat system and all the bosses that you fight that all have very intricate movesets, and you have to learn the puzzle of the boss fights basically. You have very abstract platformers with just weird blocks and stuff floating around in the sky, being super weird. But being super creative, but also being super video game. And you sort of have the third where you walk in corridors in between each of these set pieces, and it's beautiful, and it's not boring because Atto moves in a very, very fast way. You can move really quickly, and just moving around is fun, so it's never boring. It's not like 9 Years of Shadow. It's actually holds up really, really well. And also it tells, a relatively simple but very well told story without any words whatsoever. There is no language in the entire game, including the tutorials, other than where it says Atto in the title screen and the credits. It's a wonderful game, but I have to give the nod here to the absolutely breathtaking storytelling of Rainworld Saint. It's like this is a battle of storytelling, and it's just Rainworld's story is it's interesting because you start the first game, you start just playing with the normal guy, and it's just an environment. But then as you play through the Downpour stories, the story becomes, you understand it becomes more complex, but not because anyone is telling you anything. Just by virtue of playing a couple of millennia apart from one another. And you see how nature moves across the years and all that. How some of the old technology that's littering is deteriorating and then being reclaimed by nature. It's a beautiful story told in it's a uniquely tellable story using this media of like a game that you're gonna be playing several times. And I think like, and that's, I feel like it touches me. And like, that's not even touching the game itself yet, but I just feel like that aspect is just so strong. Atto is a work of art, but it's a lot more video game about itself. Okay, I see. I'm starting to drift back into negatives, but like, I feel like it's almost impossible to avoid, but I want to avoid it. But Atto is beautiful. It's clean. It's very well thought out. But Rain World Saint specifically goes a little bit further, I feel like. Aslan and We Heart Katamari. This one, my opinion, has not changed. And this might be come as a shock to some people. This I cannot help but be a little negative. We Heart Katamari. I love that game. Like, I genuinely do. I think it's very stylish. It's beautiful. Like, the reroll version, which I played, is super clean, super neat. Wonderful work. So we all know why that game exists, right? The director was told, all right, we're doing a sequel. And the director was like, no, I don't really do sequel. And then Namco was like, oh, well, okay, we'll just do it without you. And so the director was like, fine, I'll do it. And We Heart Katamari is sort of like they're trying to push the concept of what you can do in the Katamari game as much as possible. And the issue with this is that there's some of the gimmick stage that just do not land for me. Like, a lot of the gimmicks is fine because ultimately you're just playing Katamari anyways. You're rolling around, you're getting things, you're getting bigger. It's fun, it works, it's beautiful, it's great, it's a blast. But some of them you don't. Like, the mission where you gather snow and the mission where you gather firefly are the two that stand out to me as just... that is just not what I want out of the game. And, I mean, that's fine. Like, that's genuinely fine. Not every game is for everyone. But, like, I just want more Katamari. When I play Katamari, I just want more Katamari. Give me, maybe not infinite, give me 20 levels of just Katamariing in different places. I'll genuinely be happy. See, Aslan does not have that issue. Aslan, I liked all of it. There were not parts that I didn't like on a fundamental level. And so, like, to me, that one is just... I apologize. We heart, and everybody heart Katamaris. I heart Katamari. Just most of it. Pseudo Regalia versus Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. That's funny, because they're both games about exploring a castle and running around and getting movement upgrades. But they're just fundamentally different in a lot of spaces. This too, I have to give a black mark. And this is why this winner is obvious to me. So Pseudo Regalia, I love that game, but while I was playing the game, how often did I mention how much I did not want to fight? Like, there's a couple of Zelda rooms where it's just like, you gotta kill all the enemies in the room so that the door's unlocked. And there's two bosses, and, you have to fight. You have to engage in the battle. You don't have a choice. Like, it is part of the game. And that's fine, but I never liked that. I always prefer to explore. Like, I love the exploring. I love the movement options you got. The parkour just flows. At first, it's a bit tough because there's a lot going on movement-wise, but at some point, it starts to make sense. And the dance you can do with the environments that are created for you in that game is absolutely beautiful. But you have to fight. There's no avoiding it, and I never liked that. I never liked to fight. And so I just can't, like... Castlevania, I did not have that issue. With Aria, I did not have that issue, at all. So I'm sorry, GOAT fans. This is just not the one for you. My apologies. Okay, here's where things get real grody, so we'll skip to Eddie's World versus wasn't quite Borth Goy. What is it? We don't have the full name, huh? Well, something in Vi Silva. The answer here is Eddie's World. Rosenquist Stiletta is a lot of fun. Like, you know, it's I replayed the game but using the melee characters. It's a good time. Like, it's a fantastic time. It's the second game especially is a lot more what's the one I'm looking for here? Is a lot more self-assured, like, you know, like it's a lot more confident in what it's doing. Versus the first game that is very plagiarizing. Like, it is just outright lifting parts of Mega Man and giving it a gothic sort of paint job over it. And it's just kind of funny because Eddie's World is the opposite, where it takes Mega Man graphics but changes their context completely and does completely different things with them. Eddie's World, I feel like was not talked about a lot, but it is a wonderful little action puzzle game with a lot of like very neat bosses. It is very creative and is very interesting in how it like messes around with its own elements. It's like I said, it's kind of like the exact opposite of what Rosenquist Stiletta does. And I just think Eddie's World has left much more of a mark inside my brain. Which, I don't know, maybe it's not fair, because Rosenquist Stiletta RKS was a replay, but that's how it panned out. Super Baby Mario and Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. This one, I'm sorry, Hatcher heads. I have to do this. Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg is really cool. It's really cute. It's really nice looking. There's a lot of it, but it doesn't have the ability to support itself. Like, that's the big issue with that game. And I mean, I've complained about it during the series itself. It's very awkward. It feels like it needed like iteration on some of the more frequent setups. Like, it's just so easy to fall off a ledge while keeping your egg somewhere else, just losing your egg. Like, fighting enemies that are strong that just pop your egg all the time so you lose your one single means of attack. Like, it just feels weirdly unbalanced. And Super Paper Mario can be frustrating, but it feels like it's frustrating on purpose. Like, Super Paper Mario it is genuinely fascinating how willing Nintendo were in having a game featuring Mario that was just so friction. It's a game essentially of friction at some point, just constantly getting in your way on purpose, like just outright trolling you. And it's fascinating that it exists. And yeah, it can be frustrating, but it's on purpose. And I respect that more than a game where it feels like the frustration is just a byproduct of having to put the game out, you know? Like, again, I apologize, Hatcher heads, but there's no way this game can win this fight. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, and this feels super mean to say. I feel like I don't remember anything from Sonic Colors DS, and that's in spite of doing every bonus level and getting every red rings. Like, I remember the purple power-up. I remember the power-ups being used in fun ways. But I do not really remember any level layout at all. No, wait. The last world had those roller coasters where you just did not have any time to react to anything. I guess I remember that. Like, I feel like I remember the frustration, but I remember enjoying DS a lot more than Big Boy Colors. But there's been enough time that I just feel like I don't remember much of anything. The fire power-up, right, that was super weird. At some point, it was like a robot eating a hot dog. Am I imagining that? I mean, it does a lot of good work. I just feel like it gets absolutely eclipsed by my return to Valda's Story. Valda's Story, a beautiful game, and the gameplay is just so fun. And yeah, it's like Sonic Rush 3. That's basically what it is. I agree. But I just have more memories. But yeah, a bit. Valda's Story is a lot more recent. Is that fair? I don't know, but that's how it's panning out. Pinball Crush series and Baldi Mario is a really weird mixture. I'm gonna have to give it to Baldi Mario, and I feel like people would agree with this. Like the issue, so the Pinball Crush series was just sort of like an overview. It's just looking at it, right? It was just to look at a game, look at the graphics, see what they were doing. It was a very like I named it myself, like a casual Pinball Crush is how I named it on YouTube. It's meant to be sort of a shallow overview of the game. And so, as such, my relationship with the game was fairly shallow in a way that it really was not with Baldi Mario, a game that demanded a lot of attention from me. So, of course, I'm just going to respond a lot more sharply to Baldi Mario. Although, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure. Like, I didn't hate Baldi Mario, but I did not hate my overview of the Crush series. Especially Jackie Crush is absolutely beautiful. Genesis 1 Dragon's Revenge was a bit muddy and it was a bit buggy, but the TurboGrafx 16 games were very pretty. Very hard in parts, like to the point where it felt a little unfair. And I feel like I was very harsh on the WiiWare one. I really should have played Story to really get a sense of what they are, like what the game is about. But like I'm ready to re-explore most of those games and like actually make an effort to beat those tables. I'm willing to return, so I feel like they will have their chances in the future. Baldi Mario is a solid. It's a solid game that like solid Mario, very gimmicky game. A shorter hack, but that's fine. And it dropped the ball, but there was like near the end, but like there was some like fantastic stuff. I want to keep Baldi Mario on the run. This reminds me, there are two games included here. ACRT and Gaiden Gaiden. Like it's just in case you wonder if why they're not there. It's because I do not make games that were made by the community for the community. Like, that was always the case, and that is still the case here. The lost levels of all the ASMBXT projects, Talkhouse, Mebex projects all put together. Fantastic, tightly packaged package that is super huge in Gaiden Gaiden, sort of like AAT.5, 1.5. Absolutely wonderful little hack. And I mean, even calling it little, I feel is not fair. 26 exit is still like not like nothing. But this is my shout out to these two. But yeah, they're not there because they're by the community and it wouldn't make sense. This one is pretty obvious. I feel like Tower of Bias one was pretty neat. Like it's the first Tower of Bias. It wasn't even called Tower of Bias technically. It's a package of early Smebex games, Smebex levels. Lots of going to a place to hit a switch, to hit a place, to hit a switch, to hit a place, to get the midpoint. And I mean, that's fine. Like, that's how things were at the time. It's just funny to think about, again, now in the future. And I still enjoyed my time a lot. Some of the, once, as always, there were some low points, but there were some pretty high points. And that is worth thinking about. Like, that's worth looking at. Absolutely. Gaiden was a lot of fun. We'll have a chance to talk more about Gaiden moving forward. Honestly, so the next one, I gave it to Kirby's Pinball Land the first time, but I think I have to give it to Cyberpurge. I feel like I didn't give it enough credit. While sort of like going, of course, Kirby's Pinball Land. But like, so Cyberpurge. My first time playing anything, well, like a longer game in ZZT. Like I played like couple of little advent little things. But like this was like the first formal game meant to be played by people, by a multitude of people. It was very strange experience because if you go into like the Museum of ZZT and whatnot, you're gonna see a lot of praise for Cyberpurge being sort of like the top game, like one of the top possible games, top example of what you can do with that engine. The issue being, I don't know anything about the engine. I have no experience with it, so I played it for what it was. Not really knowing what was impressive or not, right? Like, it's always just kind of like a funny thing. But I will say, like, the ANSI art, not ASCII, but ANSI art in display in that game is honestly, like, pretty good. Not necessarily even talking about, like, the character arc and the many texts drops, but like a lot of the abstract landscape created by the ANSI art I thought was like absolutely marvelous. Like the way it used the shapes and colors to create, like just abstract scapes, I think is super cool and underappreciated. Kirby's Pinball Land was cute. Like it was a cute little adventure. First episode was real rough. I came in with totally not the right attitude and I suffered for it. So I had a shift. I had a shift in attitude. And, you know, I started playing it with a more sort of like open mind to playing it like in the form of a run style. And I just kind of ended up beating the three main tables in a row anyways. And then I just save scum DDD because I didn't want to restart. Game is hard. Pinball games are just weirdly video game pinball games. They're all super hard. I don't know what's up with that. They're just super hard, man. It's cute. It's like it's a fun way to reuse like Game Boy Kirby graphics. Like I think they're being very creative with it. No, yeah. I don't know. It's cute. I feel like Cyberpurge is just goes a little bit beyond it's cute. One of the hardest one honestly is Super Mario Ball and Mega Man at Tokyo Olympics. I think Pizza went ahead and paired the two weakest games that I've played, both in terms of my personal feeling for and audience rating of the game. I cannot give points to Super Mario Pinball Land. I just cannot. I refuse to. That game made me so angry. Now, I realize, and I admitted it, I did not play that game correctly. Super Mario Ball was designed where that whenever, you know, the family would be driving around and you're in the back of the car with your GBA and you flip the balls around a little bit and, oh, hey, you get a star here, you get a star here, from time to time, and gradually you build up to eventually maybe possibly beating the game, maybe not. That is not how I tried to play it. I tried to play it like a normal Let's Play, and that did not work, and that created a lot of friction, and I had a miserable time because of it, and it's not necessarily the game's fault. However, I feel like my expectations were kind of set by it being a official Nintendo product featuring Mario. So, like, the people who made the game were, like, actual pinball sickos who have, like, a history of creating very complex, like, very difficult pinball games. And they just did not self-censor, like, at all. And just the friction between those two realities is out of this world. I just found the game just too frustrating, though, because of that. Because, like, there's very small things that could be adjusted. And I feel like the game would be a lot more... I don't want to say... I mean, yeah, more fun, but, like, also just more approachable for a more, like, curious about pinball sort of market. But, I mean, that's easy to say, right? You can say that about, like, you just change this, just nudge this and change that, and it's going to be super good. But they made the game they wanted to make. It is just not approachable at all, secretly. And it's a secret that it's unapproachable. It's a secret until you start playing it and digging it, and you go into the bullet bill bonus game and you lose your ball immediately. That's when you realize it. It's just a bad time to realize it. Mega Man Tokyo Olympics had its issues, but there were some very high points too. We'll get back to that later. Honestly, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, and Psy Cutlery is very hard for me. Because Donkey Kong Country, okay, well, let's start with the one that's on top. Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze. That one game was chosen to me to be played by someone via the winner of the of last year's contest. And it's a big game. It's a long game, lots of level, and it is just so good through it. Big set pieces, a lot of levels have their own little gimmicks, but I kind of almost don't want to call them gimmicks. They're more like set pieces, where some levels just have these big, giant transformations that happen. Like, they're very interactive levels where things are just constantly happening. It's very momentum based, and I think it is incredible how they have constructed their levels to appeal both to people who like going around and finding things, and also the speedrunning crowd. And making levels that are designed for both, asterisk, there are still vehicle levels where speedrunning feels a bit silly. But meanwhile, Psychology within the series, I have called that game perfect. So, and I stand by it. I mean, okay, asterisk. The gameplay is absolutely perfect. It's not momentum based like DK. It is a lot more precise, closer to a Mega Man. But there's 100 regular levels, like 50 silver, 50 gold, as well as a smattering of other extra levels. And they keep iterating. They keep adding new things. They keep adding unique little power-ups. And, they introduce gimmicks. And then it's not like a ROM hack where they make a gimmick and then it's forgotten. No, then 3 worlds later, hey, here's this old gimmick, except it has a brand new context to it that changes everything. And they keep remixing and everything. And it is, it's unfair. It is unfair to Donkey Kong Country to be pit against Psy Cutlery. Because Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is an amazing game that deserves to be talked about more than I have. But I can't, because Psy Cutlery just... me and my friend, sometimes we talk together. I know it's a pretty wild concept, but it does happen. We're just super far out like that. And I've mentioned several times that when people do platform games, especially big companies, like when Nintendo does a platform game, does a Mario game, a big issue I have is that the ROM hacking community, the maturity of platform game development in the ROM hack and fan game community is 20 years ahead of what studios do, even today. Psychology feels like you can tell that they're from the Mario fan game community because they're taking the lessons of ROM hack and Mario fan game game design language and applying it to their own thing, and it shows, and that is why it is so good. It's not a set piecey, but there are still big pieces though. You still have huge bosses. Oh, I'm gonna say it. The bosses in Psy Cutlery, they feel a lot better than they do in Tropical Freeze. If I needed a direct comparison, if I have a point to directly compare them, yeah, I just don't like the boss fights in Tropical Freeze at all, don't I? Oh, well, alright. I still think it's unfair that these two games are matched in pools. Donkey Kong does not deserve to drown in pools. I'm sorry. But you are set against perfection. And bout 7 here. Cruelty Squad versus Demon Souls. Those are two games that should win. Before I even saw what games are inside a contest, like there were like 5 games that I feel like could easily have won in the end. And then Cruelty Squad and Demon Souls are 2 of them. And this is the main reason why I wanted to do a take 2. I feel like I just got too negative. Like, don't ask me to show the take 2. Like, I'm just going to remove it from YouTube and I'm going to erase the video. Like, there's nothing to gain from watching it. But I feel like all I did when I got to here, to Cruelty Squad versus Demon Souls in pools, all I did was like focus, like, okay, how can I bring one of the 2 games down? How can I do it? And I kept thinking about it, and I just tried to nickel and dime tiny little faults, and it felt bad, and I felt bad, and then that sort of like brought a negative momentum throughout the rest of the contest. So I'm not doing this. What do I like about Cruelty Squad? I love that game. I love its look. It is like a very punk aesthetic to a game in the sense that it does what it wants. It looks at game conventions and like just throws it in the garbage, preferring to do whatever it wants to do with the technology that enables it. It is a very ugly game, parentheses, positive, and secondary parentheses, on purpose. It is a very visually messy game, but it's sort of like it's because the game, it's kind of a trap because the game actually is very clear about its intentions. Once you can sort of like peer through the veil of like sort of like just have how it just screams colors at you. You play the game a little bit and you're gonna realize the game is actually very clear about what it wants out of you, and you understand that it's going to give you the tools to do it. Funnily enough, I could say the exact same thing about Demon Souls, other than the fact that it is not ugly. It is visually, it is a beautiful game. It is like a low fantasy, rundown. The apocalypse is happening, post-apocalypse, everything is doomed kind of thing. But, it's very polished, given the fact that it's a PS3 game. Beautiful game with skeletons and giant monsters everywhere. Very detailed. Like, it has very, very varied worlds. There's the swamp, which, everyone makes fun of the swamp. But you got, the mountain with the flying manta rays. That's pretty cool. You got the mine with like all the machinery spinning. You got like the classic castle. And what people say about the Souls game. Oh, they're so hard. They're so opaque. You got to get good. It's not about getting good. It's about listening to what the game is so desperately trying to tell you. It just wants to have a talk with you. Every game is a conversation between the game itself, the people who have made the game, and the player. Demon Souls is a game that assumes you have talked with other games before and is going to treat you like an adult. And I think just a lot of people are not ready for that and bounce back pretty violently against that. It's not the case. It's a very caring game. It's a lovely game. It has a lot of ideas that it wants to share. It's just not going to compromise. And again, Cruelty Squad is identical with this. It has a lot of things. It has a lot of things to say. It has a lot of things to shout about. It's going to be messy about it. It just wants you to listen. Originally, I gave it to Demon Souls, but I think I will actually give it to Cruelty Squad. This time, on the second go-around. So, here's the thing. I remember... so originally, I ultimately gave it to Demon Souls because At some point during Cruelty Squad, I felt a little tired. Like, I beat the game, I got all the items, I got all the upgrades, and then I was redoing. Sorry about that. And I was redoing like a second entire loop of the game in blue cheese mode. I forgot the actual name. It's fine. It's fine because I don't think it has an official one. But yeah, I was doing like sort of like a hard mode redo with like all my upgrades, which was maybe a mistake because the upgrades sort of like make things a bit easier than it should be. Doesn't matter. I'm losing focus. But at some point during that part, I was like, you could tell, and I think I said it outright, and I was like, you know what? I feel like maybe this was a mistake. Or like I'm ready. No, something like I'm ready to be done, which is something I've never said throughout playing Demon Souls. But I don't think it's fair because what Cruelty Squad brought to me is much stronger than the fact that I played it so much that I was ready to end at some point. Cruelty Squad is a unique animal. And it introduced me to the concept, not to the concept, but it introduced me to what it is to play an ImSim, and turns out I might like the genre a lot, and that's meaningful. Like, I know I love adventure games and exploring. Like, adventure game, not as in, like, point and click, but, running around a world and popping animals on the head with a stick. But Cruelty Squad, it's special. And I think it makes sense for me to give it over Demon Souls. Like, I adore Demon Souls, but I feel like I went in knowing I would adore it. Well, Cruelty Squad was just a surprise. It was just a shotgun blast in the face of everything. And, I don't know. I just feel like if you're just asking me what game do I like more, I just think I like Cruelty Squad more. All right. I mean, do I need any other reason than that? It just feels weird. Spoilers. I'm gonna leave it there. Spoilers. I just said spoiler here. Darkstalker, like I said, I love that game. It is a beautiful game. It just feels so good. I love fighting games, which is something I do not get to play very frequently on this channel. But I like Darkstalkers a lot. Versus Rain World. So this is new. Is a very interesting ROM hack. I mean, okay, it's a sequel to Arak. It is an interstitial, like it is between the start and the end of Arak, which is a lot of fun. And it's funny because, put them together and get ROM hack. What? Incredible. It's hard to rate because it's not a unique vision. It's a bunch of levels put together in a pack. Except that's not true because I feel like tying it together with this weird like chaos world, which is Omland, is a pretty smart way. It's a very simple way. It's a very straightforward way, but it's still pretty elegant. And it just here's a world of weird chaos that all kind of gray and faded, and it's all kind of messed up, and but it's sort of kicking together, and then the plumber goes over and destroys it all. And so here's where it's just kind of not fair for is that if you're asking me to evaluate a game experience, I'm always going to value cohesiveness and how everything holds together. And, like, also, a game like like, there are levels I just did not like. Like, that's just straight up a fact. There were some of the best Mario I've played. The Battletoad port level is something that stuck to my brain to this day. I still think about that sometimes. There's a handful of, like, super clever stuff in there. The level where you need to do something in one level, like you need to do something in the key castle for an exit in the lock house. Super smart, very well thought out, and the fact that the tech exists is like, oh, that is like super good. And like it really kind of goes out there, But I just feel like also it's just a thing where in general ROM hacks have sort of like moved on from me. I've mentioned this in Gaiden, but this is relevant here. Something I called skillflation, where I feel like I used to be pretty much at the top of the player triangle, but this is not the case at all. People are used to playing harder stuff, not even talking about Kaizo, just like regular gameplay, like regular ROM hacks. The upper floor of skill that is expected out of players, and the upper floor of like the sort of actions that is, you know, more or less expected someone to be able to do has risen over the years. And I have not really caught up because I went into a Mario exile for 2 years, and it shows. And it's fine. Like, I'm totally okay with that, but you will get situations like this where, like, the game is a fantastic experience, but at some point, I hit a layer, especially in the post game, where it gets a bit too hard for me, and I just stop having fun. With that, like, I have some levels I had a great time. Also, sometimes you get gimmicks that are a bit too overpowering, and you stop feeling like you're playing Mario in kind of a bad way. So again, like, it's a great thing, it has a great like style to it, but Rain World, the Saint, is special. Okay, this makes a lot more sense as a semi-final. Okay. Ascalon v Castlevania. This may come as a shock, but I feel like I have to give it to Ascalon. So, Aria of Sorrow, I just beat the game. Originally, when the take one of this I did was like the same day that I beat Julius Mode, which you could argue was maybe a bit too early. Now there's a whole extra day that happened. Aria of Sorrow is a fantastic game where the game just keeps giving you more things to play with. Like, it keeps throwing like new abilities and new souls, like new spells, new equipment to play with. You're constantly doing new things while you're running around this castle. And it looks pretty, like it's beautiful. It's a Castlevania, so the aesthetics are like top notch with great music. Soma's pretty fun. The characters are all very stupid, but that's fine. I appreciate how the game loses no time at all to get started. That's just really funny. Astalon is different because I feel like it's a little bit more specific about what it wants to do, and I feel like it creates a tighter experience. Astalon is, in case you don't know, it's a roguelite Castleroid, where you're exploring a castle while you're gaining abilities to try to get better and move through the puzzles and whatnot. There's a major gimmick that they push to the absolute maximum of what they can do with it, and then they give you the bell which is an item you find, and it changes everything in the absolute best way. To me, it was timed perfectly when I found it. I don't know how it would feel for other people, because the castle in Ascalon is very open compared to Aria, where I feel like it's actually fairly linear. Like, Aria is not a long game, so like, it's normal for a Metroidvania to sort of like be linear at the start. It just means that in this case, there's not a lot of time left for the more open part, second part of Aria. Aria's a lot of fun. Like, I went out of my way to do boss rush mode. I went out of my way to do Julius mode. Like, I wanted to keep playing. But this is true for Ascalon also. Like, I beat the game. I did Black Knight mode. I did the boss rush there too. I did monster mode. And I left NG+, which remixes the castle, to return to later. Like, I loved my time with Ascalon. I loved my time with Aria, but Ascalon is, like, Aria is just a big old fun fest. Ascalon is a more specific, I feel like more refined, in spite of some issues I have, especially with the writing. But if we're just looking at a game in isolation, like, I just feel like, yeah, like I appreciate the refinement in Astalon, and that's why I give it the win. We're not looking at this. Eddie's World versus Hell is Other Demon. Well, not a lot of people liked Hell is Other Demon that were watching the series. I know some people did, and I'm glad for it. I loved it. I loved my Hell is Other Demon. Sorry about that. I loved my Hell is Other Demons experience. I think it was a blast. It's a very destroy the world game. You are just shooting everything all over the place all the time. It's very visceral. It's very fun. People told me that the reason why a lot of the audience was just sort of like about it was because like it doesn't do much new in terms of indie game, but to me its elements were very new to me, so like I didn't have that issue. What I think my bugbear though with Hell is Other Demons is it's similar actually with Hanabi now when I think about it. The gameplay just doesn't quite match the level design. When I started Hell is Other Demons, I was not aware it was a wave-based arena, wave-based like game. I thought it'd be distinct levels. And it's unfortunate because when it does level E things, like the boss encounters, like the game really shines and it is absolutely fantastic. And unfortunately it doesn't. The arcade mode is a lot of fun because you do just kind of move very quickly through the different arenas, and that works very well. But for some reason the bosses are not in arcade mode, and that feels like a mistake. I feel like something that combined the two would make an actually like super mega super good game. That's how good my vocabulary is. It's just, but it's not what it is. Eddie's World was good. More about you later. So that I don't know, honestly. I need to think about it. This, I'm gonna give it a Gaiden. Baldi's Mario is really cute, but I mean, it's cute. It's funny. Like, it's funny. It's funny about its ideas. It's a bit trolly, but, you know, it's fine. Gaiden is, too, with the local poison, which I love the local poison. I know some people got tired of it. I didn't. The only issue with Baldi Mario, honestly, the thing is, it just kind of fell apart in the last few levels. Like, the Rainbow Road level is just bad, and the Smoo time trial that ends with, like, a weird trolley puzzle, non-puzzle, that's just such a bad idea. It's just... Never saw a game fall on its face so hard during its ending. Like, it got better, I feel like, when I played the secret final that Max recreated from, like, a Nico video. So that was cool. Like, that was great for the series, but I feel like I should rate the game by the actual, like, canon end, and Gaiden just was overall, I feel like, just an overall more positive experience. It was a much bigger game. So the fact that it was a much bigger game, and I feel like, you know, like, and proportionally I had more fun. So, you know, it's fine. I don't think anyone's gonna argue with me on this one. This one is weird. Cyber Purge versus Mega Man at the Tokyo Olympics. Huh. Huh. That is weird. Okay, I'll get back to that. Paper Mario vs. Valda Story. Two beautiful games. I think I'm gonna give it to Valda Story. So, okay. I think it's about the ending with Super Paper Mario. Well, there's two things. It's a platformer. Like, they went from an RPG to a platform adventure, but the platforming sort of, like, stalls fairly early on. And I genuinely kind of don't like how the ending turns out. Like, it's very clear that the writing team of Super Paper Mario loves their, like, villain crew. And it's a good thing they do, because I love the villain crew, the villain crew also. Like, they're, like, O'Toole and, I forgot their names. Except for O'Toole's. Lumiere, I mean, that's the main guy. Mimi. Nastasia, sorry. What's a jester? It doesn't matter. Like, even if I forgot a name or two, like, I love how they interact. I love the concept of, like, an anti-party that the villains have. Like, and it's just very fun. It's very fun. It's super neat. And I feel like the ending of the game, they just sort of solve everything themselves while Mario has a boss fight over in another room. And that doesn't sit well with me. And the fact that the end game, like the game ends with that, it's like, like it just does not sit well with me, like at all. And it's unfortunate. The game is very pretty. Yeah, it kind of loses the actual paper aesthetic, going for more of like a early CGI look, weirdly enough, like with lots of straight lines and like no harsh just lines and stuff everywhere. But I mean, I like the look. I think it looks neat. You go through a lot of very varied areas, and like it doesn't really hold itself together. It's very much each world is its own thing, but you know, it sticks with it. I feel like it sticks to landing there, but I just feel like the ending, man. It's the ending and the fact that the gameplay just sort of stalls. And, like, how much of the game did I spend just either using Bowser to just blow fire on enemies, and at the end just flipping the world and sidestep, like, the entirety of the last dungeon world? Like, I feel like that's telling of something. I was seeking as much gameplay as I could in Valda's story. So I feel like that's yeah, that makes it pretty clear to me. Huh. I feel like, I don't know. So Mega Man at the Tokyo Olympics, I feel like that game was voted by the Patapon and was selected to me to be added to the bucket in the first place because it has like a very funny title, Mega Man at the Tokyo Olympics. And the first cutscene when you start the game is like pretty funny. And it's like, okay, and all the regions of Japan, that's pretty wild. All right. And then you play it, and half the levels are like ports of Mega Man 5 levels. And a level is just has these weird super long jumps that don't feel good, and one of the boss just kills you instantly if he touches you. It's projectile. If he touches you, you only lose like a third of your health or something. And the first boss I played, just like the egg boss, just throw an egg, and it was like awful. It's like, I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a misguided game that's not quite sure what it wants to do. And it creates a certain expectation for like a wacky, strange, wild adventure with its name that just is not able to cash on. And it's really unfortunate. Like the end level, like the last level, the boss refight being on basically like a running course at the Summer Olympic is funny. Like that works. But that needed to be the whole game, not just the end. Alright, Cyber Purge, you're going here. Alright. Sure. Okay. Yeah, Cyber Purge does not have that. I have my issues with Cyber Purge, but it's more about the story. I feel like I don't need to rethread that though. Alright, Psychutlery versus Cruelty Squad. Psychutlery is a game I have described as perfect. Cruelty Squad is a game that is very much not perfect, but it is not trying to be perfect. How do I compare these two? This is what is hard about this event, this contest, because there is no world in which these two games should be compared side by side like this. This is the single unique instance in the universe where this is a necessary thing, and it's completely absurd, and the laws of the universe are not written in such a way where this action is possible. So what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? if we're gonna be real, I feel like I enjoyed Psychottery more. I love Cruelty Squad. I love what it does. But I'm a platform player, platform game player at heart, right? And Psychottery explores a lot of what you can do in the platforming environment. Like, I don't want this to make it a quantity thing, because I can't just say, well, you do more things than Psychottery. That's not true. And Cruelty Squad just showers you with options. You can do a lot. I ended up having my favorite approach. I love the DNA gun. Like, that thing is completely ridiculous. Maybe it's a little broken, but I feel like because you just one-shot stuff all the time. But apparently, people who are more used to shooters would one-shot using more traditional guns. So, like, it only sort of like closed the field a little bit for me. So I appreciate it. That's what I mean. The game is very nice. Cruelty Squad is a very, very accommodating game. I love the Archon world. Like the worlds are, some are a bit more normal and some of them are a little bit more out there. Like the big weird like tunnel with the bouncy floor at the bottom. Like that's like, what does that mean? The poison swamp where your handler tells you to not eat the berries, but you really do want to eat the berries. In Psychottery, you eat a lot of berries, and actually you're more likely to throw them. And you fight a giant berry that keeps coming back. I don't know. Like, this is a hard one. Maybe there is no real answer. Maybe, like, and I'm trying to look for, like, my instinct was to give it to Psychottery. Is it just a genre thing? Is that fair? Does it have to be fair? I mean, I think everyone that is taking the time to watch this video is fully aware that I am fully in love with both of these games. Like, that is not what is being debated here. I don't feel comfortable just saying I love one game more than the other without having, like, something to be able to say about it. Have I ever, like, but I think it's just the reality is a lot of what you do in Psychottery is the kind of thing I like to do. Like, it's learning how to maneuver around obstacles and also looking for the eyeballs. Like, I love to search for things and all the QI that exists. Is that quality of life? QL, sorry. Quality of indentations that exist. I mean, yeah, no. Psychottery is a game created out of quality of life. It is kind of wild about it. It's not that Cruelty Squad, like, yeah, like, it is a bit more, it is a lot more, has a lot more friction built in, but, like, I still loved my time with it. Fishing was, I took the time to fish in every world, or at least try to. I didn't get every fish, though. Oh, and the world of Cruelty Squad is just, I love it. Am I giving it to Cruelty Squad? Will Cruelty Squad beat a perfect game? Does it boil down to that? Okay, well, let's talk about the world. Psychottery, I love. Like, the world is fun. It's very Saturday morning cartoon about itself. I appreciate Lillian's character of just being a complete yes and elemental. Like, she is the divine saint of improv comedy, just no matter who it is that says anything at all, she just runs with it and pushes it further. And it is a joy. And even though the game actually does a serious amount of effort in introducing stakes, and they feel realistic about it too, and the whole world reacts to it with a fairly, like, a fairly realistic amount of, like, gravitas, she's just sort of like unfazed by it, which might be off-putting for some people. But I don't know, like, man, like, as a big fan of OPM, of One Punch Man, the classic years, I am way into a character that is just nonplussed by everything that is like by nonplussed by something that's making everyone freak out and being able to just actually deal with it too. Um Cruelty Squad is an ugly, ugly world. It's a very cynical world, sort of like a. I don't know how far in the future it's supposed to be, but it's a post-capitalistic dystopia that really pushes it to the extreme in a way that is very funny to me. It's very uncomfortable, but it's very frank and realistic about it, but like in a cartoony way. I love its stupid world of just, but like, where everyone is awful. Not some people are not so bad, like, like the guy that's just trying to dig meat out of the earth. Except he has, like, psychic worms inside his brain. So, like, is he well? Is he well? Is he actually good? It's, man. I cannot make a decision between these two. Like, it says psychutlery there, but that's because I can't remove it. Like, if you put one, it's there. You can't just delete it. So, technically speaking, there is no entry yet. The games are just absolute super mega opposite. Like, this too. Like, I just kind of... I feel like psychutlery beats Asylon. I feel like Cruelty Squad also beats Asylon, so that's not really a thing. Asylon is really good, but honestly, if we're starting to talk about what is outside of the game, Asylon's story is I've described it as clumsy. Like, the writing is very clumsy, and sometimes it felt very much ad-libbed, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's fine. It's fun. Like, the whole vibe of the game feels sort of like a night at the table, playing like D&D, doing a dungeon crawl together. Like, it feels like the vibe that a game has, but it's not clear if that's the intended vibe. Both Psychutlery and Cruelty Squad are very intent in what they're doing. Lord. Let's look ahead. Gaiden wins here. Cyberpurge is fine. So if you boil it down to it, the gameplay is pretty neat. Like, honestly, it is pretty cool to see what it does, and in the interaction with the the puzzle elements in the environment. Like, someone somewhere described it as like a top-down Doom-like that you can't move in. And honestly, yeah, that is pretty cool, but it just does not match to me, to my own personal taste, to the extremely varied, different Mario platforming scenarios that Gaiden offers. Like, that is a bit of a blowout, I'm sorry to say. Eddie's World and Valda's Story, I think I have to give it to Eddie's World. This may come as a shock again, but I really liked Eddie's World. And in fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I think Eddie's World makes it here. Eddie's World is super cool. Like, Valda's Story, okay, let me talk about it a little bit more. So it was my return, I played Valda's Story the first time years ago. It did not go well, so I decided finally to retry the game, but stick it to normal mode, and I had a blast. The combat system in Valda's Story is absolutely fantastic. After the first few bosses, I started really going for the S ranks. One, because the prizes are just absolutely absurd that you get. They give you such an advantage. But honestly, it's just fun. Like, mixing up your combos and, like, figuring out, like, what moves to put when, like, your different buffs that you need to juggle and, like, your special moves. It feels like playing a fighting game, just without, like, the button inputs. Like, basically a fighting game system that uses Smash-style moves, where it's a button and a direction, basically. Like, yeah, like, it feels like the bosses feel like fighting game, and the normal enemies... Well, normal enemies, it becomes a bit less fun when There's a lot of them. But a game really, really shines during the duels when it's one-on-one. It's absolutely just, it plays like butter. Like, you do what you want to do, basically. It's so good. And, with beautiful art, beautiful environment. Um, but, yeah, like, I feel like combat can be frustrating in groups, and the platforming, I feel like there's platforming to do, and I feel like the controls, the jump arc is weird and doesn't do it for me. In a way that Eddie's World is just a much more cohesive experience, which is wild to say because the whole game is just like a bunch of random stuff that happens. But you yourself and how you navigate the world remains consistent within all that random nonsense. Sorry about that. And it holds itself so well. It holds itself well, solidly. This and Eddie's World, like, that's why it is where it is. And I feel like I just had a lot of fun with Eddie's World. Gaiden is good. Gaiden is a fantastically made game, but I just think it's too hard at some point. It was too hard for me. I'm not saying the game is too hard. It is. At some point, it reached a level that, to me, was... the friction was too hard. And it felt like a fight. At no point did Eddie's World feel like a fight. And I mean, there's some instances where I was going to say, no, yeah, I love the fight. Like, that's what I liked about it. But Gaiden was a bit too much. Eddie's World was just right. Okay, well, Eddie's World's in the final. We still haven't figured out neither of the other semifinal. Spoilers, it's going to win against Eddie's World. Spoiler, it's going to be Void Stranger. It's this one. This one I don't know. Whatever it is, it won't win against Void Stranger. And it's not even here that I need to decide it. It's here. These two. But it loses to Void Stranger. No matter what it is. So it doesn't really matter. But it matters, actually. There's exciting prizes that hinges on that. So... God damn, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't... Psychotlery versus Fruity Swap. There's a unicorn in Psychotlery. Okay. You know what? I do not remember any of Cruelty Squad's music at all, while Psychotlery's music is, honestly, some of the music pieces are pretty solid. There you go. Something concrete I can actually lean on. Bang! Equal and equivalent in everything except for that. Bang! Look, man. Bang! I made my case. Aslan is really cool. It's a really cool game. Psychotlery is a really cool game plus. And then we get versus Void Stranger. So, I have described Psychotlery as a perfect game. I said that during the series near the end. You can watch. I don't know which video it was specifically, but it's there. The quote is there. Citation. I said that once on camera. Void Stranger. The game itself is not perfect, but the entire thing, the entire being, which is Void Stranger, is one of the single best entire thing that I have experienced. It's very hard to talk about. So yeah, if you boil it down on the surface level, I mean, the Steam page calls Void Stranger a Sudoku. It is not a Sudoku, but it is a puzzle room based game where you push things around when you try to open the door sometimes, or you just want to go to the door, and wowie zowie, you do it 200 times. There you go. But there's so much more to it. There's essentially two parallel stories going on that are also extremely interlinked, very intimately. One of which is a extremely well done story that is very personal based, about people. And there's the Void Lord world story that I love. I know some people don't like them as much. I love the Void Lords. They are absolutely fantastic, weird, like more abstract characters that really speak to me. Nini might not have worked on me. Like I don't really like Nini at all, but I love B, so that compensates like tenfold. Don't worry about it. Void Stranger is a game that expects you to be a very smart person, and so it just sort of throws things out there, but they're not thrown out there. Everything is there for a reason. Whether or not you can figure out why it's there is your problem. And I love that. Void Stranger's main thing is its story, I feel like. That's what like brings it up. However, it tells this story through the gameplay. It uses the game to tell this story in a vast variety of ways, multiple times throughout the entire playthrough. And it is just so uniquely its own thing. You cannot have Void Stranger's story told the way it is told without it being in a video game. It just does not work. It is not possible. It's video gameness. It is ingrained into every single facet of its existence. It is one of the most video game I have ever played. I mean that in like the most positive way that is physically possible. And yeah, it's very good. I liked it a lot. I feel like there's so much I want to say, but because to me it's such a clear avalanche of a contestant, I just feel like it's not necessary. And maybe it's not fair to people watching this who want to sort of like poke at my brain. But I feel like getting bogged down into details is just not necessary. Like, just play the game. And like, I know some people have tried to play the game and it's just like, yeah, no, I'm not digging the block pushing puzzles. I'm sorry. And I respect that and I get that. And there's nothing I can tell you that will, change your mind about that. That's fine. That is absolutely perfectly reasonable. But I like the base puzzles too. So, Void Stranger, a game apparently super specifically made for me by accident, which is something you could say about Psychutlery too. But I think you're seeing where I'm going, right? Void Stranger, I like Psychutlery is made, seems, feels, and looks like a game that was made specifically to appeal to me, which is not the case. The author on Talk House went on record to say that was not the case. It's just a confluence of tastes. But Void Stranger is that plus. There's an extra layer of reality about Void Stranger that is just I cannot I do not have the words to talk about Void Stranger. I like it too much on a level that is too deep. And I feel like just blathering about the details that I love about the game, while would probably be entertaining, I feel would lose the point of the fact that I just think it is art. And it is very, very good. Very intelligently put together and well made. and very, very carefully crafted with a lot of care, and that care is just, you can feel it everywhere. And most of the people who are going to play that game are going to bounce back at some point. I get that. But I think for people like me who, for whatever reason, won't bounce, it's going to just root inside multiple internal organs. And yeah, I've completely lost track of where that analogy was going. But you get the idea. It's the sort of game where there's a high chance you're going to bounce at some level of the game. But if you don't, it's there forever. Sorry, I'm part of the Forever Club. That did not change from that did not change from take 1 of my adventure in this contest. However, my approach feels like I'm a lot happier with the results. I feel a lot happier about what I talked about in the games. And I feel a lot happier about the reason why I reached some of my conclusions. There's only a smattering of differences, but ultimately, the end is the same. There was no escape. And I think that means I did good. I hope I did good. I hope you guys thought this was fun. I know this was pretty long. Almost an hour and a half. I'm sorry about that. Me basically just blathering, but hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully someone won. This is a hard one, but again, like, it's sort of like hard on purpose. I'm just sort of doing this so it's like on screen here so you can see the whole tree one last time. This is Cow. Thank you for watching. Hopefully 2026. You know what? When we get my sincere hope here as a conclusion, my sincere hope is that the tournament rank of 2026 is just as difficult because everything I'm going to be playing are going to be just as good. Right? Like, the fact this was hard, like, that's a great thing, isn't it? So, too many hardships. Next time, same date next year.